So the UK's unemployment rate just hit 5%, the highest since the pandemic. Now that may sound just like another headline, but if you've got a 9 to 5, this number should worry you more than you think. This isn't just about jobs, it's about stability, security, and how the system keeps making it harder for regular people to get ahead. Let's break it down. On paper, it looks like things aren't too bad, but when you dig a little deeper, it's clear what's really going on. The government's been boosting the stats by adding loads of public sector roles, but the private sector, where most of us actually work, is shrinking, and the numbers prove it. Even with revised tax data, payroll employment has fallen by 180,000 since the Chancellor announced higher taxes on employers in last year's budget. Strip out the added public sector jobs, and this looks far worse, and that's the real issue here. The private sector is where you get your raises, where your career actually grows. And right now it's slowing down month after month. Fewer opportunities, tighter competition, higher bills, it all adds up. The biggest concern is how the government has pushed the Office for National Statistics constantly to revise figures upwards since the budget last year. And that's the thing. When the numbers keep changing, you've got to ask who benefits from all the confusion. The only reason this is being spoken about now is because with the budget around the corner, the media has decided this is another arrow they can put in their bow, but the picture has been incredibly bleak for months. So let's talk about how this affects you, because if you're somebody that's trying to save, invest, or just build a bit of breathing room, this stuff hits you directly. You check your pay slip, see deductions go up, prices rising, and you're thinking, how is this still getting worse? And the craziest part is you're not being greedy or chasing millions. You just want peace of mind. You want to stop worrying about what might be around the corner. This affects every single one of you that is employed by a company. What happens when times get hard? What's the first thing that happens? The workforce gets cut. The story is always, we need to slim down, and that the same amount of work will be able to be done, as projects they've thrown infinite amounts of money at are the things they need to reduce and become more laser focused on what their customers actually want. It feels as though most executives and board members don't really care anymore other than getting their massive paychecks. And what is a company without its workers? Absolutely nothing. There needs to be accountability and some form of leadership finally, because people are tired of excuses, tired of hearing it's the last government's fault, or it's the global conditions that we find ourselves in. At this point, we just want someone in charge to say, things aren't working and here's how we fix it. The truth is, a lot of people know their MPs don't have their best interests at heart. They're more interested in draining the government pot than fixing it. People need to hold them to account and start expecting them to do their jobs they get paid incredibly well to do. Ask yourself, are you aware of truly any bills that are discussed in Parliament, and do you support them? The answer for the majority is no. Why are MPs able to put their own agendas above their constituents consistently? We need reform within the parliamentary system to bring about true change. Why is it that we have such terrible financial mismanagement in this country when it comes to government and the wider economy? They love to parade around that they're Eton or Oxford degrees, like that alone qualifies them to lead. But when you look at how the country's being run, you have to ask, does it really? And then there's the financial fallout. To make things worse, there's rumours that the Chancellor is planning another tax grab at the upcoming budget in less than 2 weeks. She'll likely expect everyday workers who've already struggled for years to once again reach deep into their pockets to bail out the mess that she's made worse. It feels like we're being punished for just trying to stay afloat. There are lessons to be learned from this high unemployment rate. Look back to when Rachel Reeves decided she was going to put up employer national insurance contributions. Businesses warned this would limit their ability to grow and, even worse, keep the workforce at the same level as it was. Fast forward and those statements have come true. Record amounts of redundancies across the private sector in too many different fields to count. At the same time, massive multinational organisations have taken advantage of this to cut back on jobs and use the promise of AI replacing roles to make organisations leaner. However, this is basically one of the worst lies told, because the AI bet has failed to pay off, and AI tech companies are debt-laden and have failed to prove their value. Look at the AI bubble OpenAI finds itself in with Nvidia, Microsoft, AMD, Oracle, and so many more. Meanwhile, corporations quietly reduce onshore headcount to send work offshore so it is cheaper, then bring them onshore and control them further, continuing the authoritarian cycle. AI will never be able to replace everything, no matter what you hear. All of this mixed together shows the times ahead are uncertain and could be even bumpier, so prepare yourself by strapping in. This isn't just about unemployment, it's about control. And you can see with the way that the narrative's unfolded over the past year, because if we keep looking for the government to fix things, we'll be waiting forever. The best thing you can do right now is start taking small, smart steps to protect yourself financially. Take back that control step by step. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think things are actually improving, or is this just another headline with no real change? And if you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.